Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Wits and Brains with the Casey and Catherine, the two beautiful ladies of business. And we are talking about shame on you. So we're talking about a wolf in sheep's clothing. Have you ever had a person that you thought was supportive and you find out they're not? They literally sabotage you. I have, Casey. How about yourself?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have. And well, I should say they tried to sabotage.
Right, right. Like the person that pops in my head right now, I mean, they didn't ruin my business, but tell you how bad it was. I had a person that I took out to lunch. I was nice to this woman when I saw other people not be so nice. And then I found out from friends and clients and whoever, they would approach me and say, so and so is talking crap about you. And I was so surprised. And it was a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Mhm.
So, yeah. I mean, how did you feel when you found out someone was talking junk?
So for me, it hasn't, well, in one particular scenario, I can remember specifically a person that was talking about stuff, or me. And then in another situation, I can think of someone who was in an organization who wasn't exactly supportive. Like we would say, do A, they would be like, no, do B. So it was like always trying to go against the current. And thankfully, in my business, I deal a lot with analytics. So I always have the numbers to back stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like, yes, you may say this, and it's not
Yeah.
really true. Like there's proof in the pudding, you know? So, but going back to the person who talks, because obviously that's not as black and white. So for me, like a long time ago, I would have just reacted. But now, like as I've matured and I'm an entrepreneur, not just an employee somewhere, it's really about pausing and reflecting on it and being like, okay, what is this saying about that person? Not really me. Cause like there's clearly something going on with them where they feel the need to talk. So what are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Well, I mean, as you're talking, this person could go right into that category. I knew something icky, right? I knew something gross that this person was collaborating with another person that was not a nice man. And she knew that I knew. And so I think this was how she was wanting to, like, if I ever came out and said something, da, 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 that it would be like, oh, but look, Catherine is gross like this or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And the sabotage, another thing, like when I go into large companies, especially, or let's say when I go into companies, period, it is my burden to get them to trust me. So I have to be trustworthy.
Mhm.
My title is consultant. Sometimes when a consultant walks in the room, people just don't trust them. So they're not wolves in sheep's clothing, but I have had rumors about me like the first 1, 2, 3 months, outrageous rumors that I don't even know how they come up with them. But that feels a little bit like it, but it always turns into better. I always prove that I'm not as weird as whatever they say. So that kind of deal is something that I don't even get my feelings hurt when I hear something outrageous about myself in these companies. I know month 3, it'll all be over.
Yeah, and I feel like with our position, like we're coming in as an outsider into any organization. So there's always that like uncertainty among the staff, like, oh, who is this? Are they here to take my job? Are they here to do this? Are they here to do that? I get that a lot. And it's like, no, we're here to be like in partnership with you. So you do get a lot of people that will butter you up. To me, it's one extreme or the other. You get either the butter, the buttering up, the so nice, or you get the I'm completely standoffish. I don't want anything to do with you because I don't trust you, blah, blah, blah. So it's a really interesting dynamic, but there definitely can be some wolves in sheep clothing. That's for sure. So
Definitely. Another thing, like it isn't always as bad as maybe it sounds in the beginning. I mean, the first time I mean, the most outrageous rumor ever in a company. And I thought, oh my gosh, I really got to take care of that. And then as I've progressed, I realize now I just have to perform. If I perform my job, and you talk about data, I work a lot with engineers and stuff. If I have the data to show it, we're good.
Yeah.
We're buds.
Yeah.
So,
so how do you deal with that? Like when you're going into an organization, that there's a rumor, how do you even acknowledge it, or do you just not give it any type of attention?
It depends. I mean, the most outrageous one that I don't even want to repeat because it's so ridiculous, I completely ignored. But I'll hear all the time that I'm there to take jobs away from people. I'm there to do something, some kind of new trend or something like that. I will literally say to people, oh, I've heard that this is going around. Because I always go into cafeterias. I don't hide in corners. I go smack dab in the middle. And so I like to say to people, hey, I've heard this is going around. Actually, I'm there to save jobs. Your company just maybe has a new objective or objectives that they're trying to do. We're trying to align the workforce to go with that. That kind of stuff works because after they, meet me once a month for 9 months, they realize I'm the same Catherine each time.
Yeah.
And no one has, taken off running out of buildings over me or anything like that. So I face those silly rumors. I just ignore.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm having an affair with someone who hired me. And it's like, I've never even met this person, this person in person. And I just ignore the heck out of those. Once people get to know me, they know this is who they're going to meet each time. So, and I am professional. I mean, we get silly here, but I don't do all this stuff in the middle of companies. So,
yeah. And that I was actually just about to bring that up. So, a friend of mine who I'm really close with, we always go back and forth about where do you cross the line, and where do you draw the line? As far as, friendships and business, and for me, I'm a small business. I work with a lot of small businesses. So there are some clients that I am friends with, or I should say I'm friendly with. It's not like I'm inviting them to a birthday gathering or, my family cookout or whatever, but I'm friendly with them. We'll go out, to happy hour or to dinner or lunch, whatever. But my team and I am close with my team, and my team members, we were actually friends before they started working with me. So it's a very interesting dynamic and it's very unique. And I recognize that it doesn't work for everyone. But I say all of that because no matter if the dynamic is with your team or with a client or what have you, or just, an associate that you're networking with, you have to be able to identify those wolves. So how do you identify when there's a wolf, especially one in sheep's clothing?
Yes. Okay. Ask yourself, have they ever liked anything I've ever done? I mean, we could go straight to the social media. Have they ever liked it? Well, if they never have, that's kind of interesting because I've liked 49 things of theirs. Do they waste your time? As in, if you got a project or whatever, and they kind of keep getting in the way. People do that. People
Yeah.
do that when they don't want to, they do not want to see you succeed.
Exactly.
And the stuff that they do is a destructive. Like you were just talking about, behaving professionally. But if you were working with someone like in your business and they came in and acted complete fools in front of clients, that is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I don't need you in my circle.
Yeah.
So those are
Sabotage.
yes, they're inactive, they're destructive, they waste your time. Let's just get rid of them.
Yeah, agreed. I also think a key indicator is like if they're talking about other people in front of you, like if they're literally, naming the person, or they're constantly like, oh, and this is just between us. Like, don't think that you're the only person that they're saying that to.
Yeah, because they're full of it.
Yeah.
They're full of it because they can't wait to get away from you and say,
The same thing to somebody else.
Catherine's such an idiot, and it's like, you just said Susie Q's an idiot. Now I'm going to pay attention to that. So wolf in sheep's clothing, shame on you. Shame on you people that are not supporting me. And I'm saying, and I'm pretty sure you say, cut them off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get rid of them.
What if you can't cut them off? So let's say that, let's say someone is an employee and they're working with someone who is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and they can't get rid of them. Like they work together. So
right.
What do you recommend?
I would say, either you're going to have to be bold and take care of it for them because you're the leader. But if you cannot just, there are reasons out there that you cannot chop them off, then that means you're going to have to find a way to put them in a box. Because sometimes you work with people that are not going to be, it's a season, right? So it's like, sometimes you need to find a way to put them here, keep the situation safe, and then maybe at the end of the year it's over or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you may have a client that seems a little bit, wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
We're business people. We deal with 950,000 personalities today.
You got that right.
So, I could say, hey, chop them off. But, in reality, maybe that advice I just said is kind of overboard for some people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but dang, you got to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
You have got to keep yourself safe.
Yeah. Think twice before you say anything, before you do anything, react, just make sure you process it.
I mean, that is right there. That's perfect. If you told yourself, boy, well, there's 100 different things right now going through my head. Because if I could do to myself, shut up more, some things would have been taken care of in a second. But sometimes I do better than other times.
Understood. We're both a little outspoken, so I get it.
There's things that need to be said sometimes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But if you're around people that are destructive, we were talking about, I've been in business at least 10 years. 10 years ago, I was not this. I didn't know certain things. I wanted every client that came to me. So, you learn things. And then when I hit 20 years with my company, I'm going to look back to this video and say, Catherine, you didn't know anything yet. So when you have a destructive person, when you have the wolf in sheep's clothing, do whatever you can, whatever powers you have at this moment. But the more you get rid of them, you're going to feel so good.
Yeah. It's mentally taxing when you have to constantly protect yourself against someone like that.
Right. I mean, I can think of going to networking events and there being wolves in sheep's clothing walking around.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm still going to go to networking events.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
you said it, like as you age in business, you learn to spot people, you learn who your people really are. So yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything you can think of that you look for in a person that you're like, he or she is not my cup of tea? Or, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe with those type of people.
My biggest thing is like how they present themselves. So are they like, do they talk? To me, there's a difference between a shy person
Yeah.
and someone who's just there to gather information.
Yes.
How do they talk? Are they talking, like I said, are they saying, oh, this only stays here, or this is just between you and I, or, oh, did you hear about so and so? And the more like gossip kind of
Yeah.
minds. Yeah, and you can really tell if they're genuinely interested in what's going on with you, or if they just want the scoop to tell somebody else. So
Yes. I had a person once that said, hey, let's have a meeting and share our companies, which I love. I don't even have to, you don't have to be a client. You don't have to be whatever. I will meet you to just say, this is what I do. What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. Hey, go see this person, whatever. So I had this one person where we sat down with my tea and she pulls out of her big case thing this kind of like iPad thing. And I'm thinking, what was she doing? And so she clicks it, and there was a 15 to 20-minute video presentation.
oh no. No.
The hell? Like, what made you think that was appropriate? So I knew this was not my person. And honestly, it did feel like a wolf in sheep's clothing because she never asked, not one time, about my business.
Yeah.
And by the end of the presentation, and then like she handed, it was the laziest thing ever because she handed it to me as if I'm going to scroll to next things. And I thought, I'm not here to work,
Oh my goodness. That's
it was
very self-serving.
I mean, I left there laughing because I thought, oh my goodness, this woman must turn people off like crazy.
Yeah.
So, don't make the people work for your presentation. And just be there to like, I mean, I've met a zillion people that I've never worked with, but I've met them. That adds to my life.
Yeah.
And, don't be a wolf. Don't be a wolf.
Agreed.
So our next episode has to do with what does it mean when vultures are circling? We will talk about that next. Casey, this is always fun. I appreciate you hanging out with me and playing today.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Bye.